I really feel like Fulton Sheen has always kind of been walking with me and helping me to parent James and do what's best for him, especially in light of, all the publicity that we sometimes get, and people kind of wanting him and having expectations of him. And that's a lot of pressure for a little boy or a teenage boy. We feel like James's story of the miracle that happened to him is actually God's story. And so that is for the whole church. It is an honor and a privilege to be able to share that story. But the rest of that, his family medical history and his life since then, and things that you can't just pick up on by living in our town or, being a fellow parishioner or whatever, that's, his private information, our private information. We try to keep that close. I often have turned to Fulton Sheen and asked for his guidance, his prayerful guidance, to make sure that I'm doing right by my son, because I know he's been advocating for James since day one, right? And I know James is very private about it, but he will say, just kind of in passing conversation with my husband and I, he'll mention praying to God, having conversations with Fulton Sheen being present in his prayer life, in a way that's, they talk about childlike faith, but it's actually really profound and beautiful, just how familiar he is when he talks about our Lord and Fulton Sheen in his life. But he's still like a punk 15-year-old kid, So don't expect him to be super pious. He's just a regular boy, I have to, for his sake, I want to say that, because otherwise people have expectations of him. It's really sweet because he will be 16 on the 16th this September. So he'll talk about his golden birthday and what he's doing and the party that we're having. And then there's also this beatification. He's like, September's a big month for me. And he has this dry sense of humor, so it's perfect. It's kind of a big deal. I would make him a patron saint of unborn and just born babies, and for sure. And maybe people with brain damage, because James, they expected significant, an early MRI showed significant brain damage for James. And Midwesterners, I think Midwesterners should have our own patron saint, because, to go with our, let me scooch right past yous, and our hot dishes. You know what I mean? He's probably rolling his eyes at me in heaven. But yeah, people who don't want to be farmers, the farmers can have St. Isidore. Fulton Sheen can be everyone who wants to get off the farm. I don't know. They have other people who are on this job, not me. I hope eventually that we just fade into a footnote in the story of Fulton Sheen. I'm excited to hear about the miracles. I know they have already investigated miracles for the canonization. I'm excited to hear what those are. I'm excited to find out what Bishop Sheen is made the patron saint of. I'm really excited for that. And I just kind of look forward to sitting back and watching that, and while I watch my babies grow and become a grandma down the road, and you know what I mean? I want to dig in my garden and take my kids to school and kind of glory in the Lord as it all continues.